will be talking more about my company, what I do, and which destinations that we tour, which packages we have, just in general as we go on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's hear from Alpro.
Thank you very much, the moderator of the show and the entire AID-TV. I'm happy and glad to be featuring on this specific episode of Best of the West. Well, I'm the founder of Alpro Tours and Travel, and we are located in the West, specifically in Bara, though we do all our business around the world. So Alpro, like any other company, has an origin. It is a company that was founded by 3 people who had love and passion for travel. Specifically me, I generated the idea, sold it to some friends of mine, for whom we woke up one day and decided to do a trip to Lake Munyonyi. So through that inspiration, people got to love the kind of experience they shared. So generally, I'm a civil engineer by profession, and my profession is about experiencing new adventures. So, having a background of that profession, I happen to move around Uganda, and as I perform my profession. So, in that way, I developed the passion to share with people what I experience, bearing in mind that we as Africans have a bad, let's say, history about travel.
Yes.
So this implies that I had to do a lot initially by marketing the product. I had to do a lot into convincing my inner circle to join me and have that passion and have that experience that I shared. So Alpro, we are soon celebrating our first birthday. We started in lockdown, the first initial wave of lockdown, that was around 25th of August, when we held our maiden trip. And to my surprise, our maiden trip attracted over 37 participants.
And that's great.
And they got the experience that we had no budgeted them for.
As the trip was heading out to which destination?
We were going to Lake Munyonyi.
Lake Munyonyi.
We were going to Lake Munyonyi, and so it was at a very subsidized fee of 87,000 for 2 days.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, 2 days and 1 night. Yeah. Well, that's all I can say about how we began. And we have a lot of travel destinations that we have detailed and priced, and some other features that I hope Ugandans and specifically the West people can dive in and experience.
Okay, thank you so much. As we are yet to dive into this, for those of you out there who would like to travel, you've heard of these companies, and anyone who is planning for a trip, of course, it can't be currently because, as you're aware, the ministry suspended the domestic tourism. So as per now, you can still postpone your trips and you plan later, such that by the time the lockdown comes out, you guys can go out there and traverse all around Uganda and look at what is within your country, to the Ugandans and also as well to the international market. For those of you out there planning your trips, please, you can as well contact these guys, and As well, I'm Itaji Devin, with you here from Kenyan Safaris Limited. That is a private travel company that specializes in tailor-made safaris, whether road trips, honeymoons, or any other special occasions. We can create a unique personalized itinerary and package for you, and according to your budget as well. So we also offer various services, and including travel documentary filming. We can do everything for you during our excursions, and we'll provide you with the best services as well. So thank you so much to those still who are viewing us right now. As we are diving into this, I think we've all answered what our companies are all about. Yeah, so starting with the Best of the West travel show here on HIT TV, it aims at profiling both known and unknown destinations within the Western region for mitigated utilization. So what are those destinations that you feel are not known out there, but you see are viable or have the potential to be utilized? So I'm going to begin as well from my left-hand side, Zoora.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. To begin with, how I wish you asked me from known then to unknown. So as
okay, I'll begin with the unknown destinations, because
okay,
now we're going to aim at those ones.
All right, even those which we think are known.
Yes.
It has come to me to be understood in the way that many Ugandans still don't know those what we think that they are known. But for the unknown destinations, you see, in Uganda right now, we can no longer discover new things, but we explore them. Meaning, some people have seen them, some have them in their areas, they don't know that they are of a tourist attraction nature.
Yeah, usually they expect that these are things for the whites, they are for the rich.
So we need to bring a touch that connects the local people, the foreigners, to those specific attractions. Especially if I can just talk about Mbarara in particular.
Yes.
Mbarara has a wide range of tour destinations, or what we can call attractions, both flora and fauna, or what we can call the wildlife, and the antiquities.
Yes.
So the big side that we have not yet discovered or known basically are the antiquities, the art crafts. Because traditionally, in Ankole we used to cook using the pots.
Yes.
We eat from our plates made out of clay. So we have some families that still use those pots, that still use those plates, those pots for eating, for serving sauce, and whichever. And those are of attraction nature. There are specific people who come from Spain, from UK, from USA. They would want to experience that touch of how local people live their life. So that is a section of tourism that we have not yet exploited fully. And they are of a very great significance to the tourists, especially the foreigners.
Yes.
Mbarara has a wide range of attractions, as I said. A case in a point, River Rwizi.
Yes.
It has got a lot of butterflies, some bird species along the river, and again the flora along the river. Those plants, those beautiful flowers that grow there, they can be an attraction, and they can attract many photographers, many videographers, many birders, and many people interested in insects. Then I think it is not yet well discovered and known and exploited.
Yes. Speaking of River Rwizi,
yes,
because I don't think currently I don't know whether there are some recreational centers that have come out to utilize the river wherever it passes. I don't know whether you are aware of any recreational center or anything that might have been set up to utilize as well such an advantage.
Apparently, there are many engagements coming up, because I remember one day we had a workshop with the Uganda Ministry of Tourism at Igongo, and basically we are focusing on exploiting River Rwizi and other tourism attractions within the region. So there are many engagements underway that people are planning to ensure they find ways of utilizing that, and they sell it. They package in simple term. I can say to package that item to ensure we sell it to that person who is interested in those features, in those in such kind of sceneries. So the big thing is to package it, and then you find the ways of selling it to someone.
So how do you say about that, Mr. Alpro?
When you ask about the unknown destinations, there are very many and quite unexplored that I have done personal research and maybe visited those few areas. Well, like I told you from the start, it all starts with passion and love. So if we are to look at Western region, and let's look at districts of Uganda. Uganda is one of the districts that has a history and a good heritage. You see, when these colonialists came to Uganda, they basically were moving and traversing the region, and they kind of left some legacies. For example, some of these schools, Bara High School, Tare, Chubula, they were basically formed and founded on a certain background. Speaking of that, if I'm to go back about the unknown destination, like in Uganda, we have the Goat Memorial Site. Goat was a European who came to Uganda, and he was an explorer who was ruling and doing business for the British. But due to slave trade and that history, he was killed. But he was killed in a very unprecedented way. One of the people who was lifting him woke up one day and speared him. So when he speared him, the people who were carrying him, you can imagine a British explorer with all the army and what, those people stoned him. When they stoned him, to his last breath.
Yes.
So it all starts with that courageous man who shot the spear, and people who are carrying him, like they already fed up. So they stoned him. So there's a place in Uganda where they stoned him, and there are very many stones piled there. But I can tell you, in one of my encounters when I reached there and asked about that place, they told me of that history, and it looks to be a very place that people can come and and visit. And so there was a program by Uganda district to recreate it and maybe modernize it, and I happen to have been on the technical team whom they had contracted to go and see the site and see how they can develop it. So I got to know that place. So if that place was developed very well, and it has such a history, and maybe a restaurant or something is built there, just like these other places, like the source of the Nile. That's the heritage that comes along. So another place we have in Isinjiro, there are very many traditional historians who live there, and basically who have history and good history about Ankole Kingdom. They have built there some, should I say, traditional houses, and of course we have to maybe carry out investigations to know if they are the true descendants of the Ankole kingdom and all that. But when you get there, you will see people talk about Ankole culture, and that is one area that in the West that we are not trying to explore. Toro region has the Pius. It is a tourist area, but here in Mbarara, in Ankole, we are supposed to be having the Pius of Mugabe, well furnished and as a tourist destination.
It's being renovated.
Yes. So now in Isinjo, those places can be visited. You've heard of Vachwezi. You studied about Vachwezi, but to my utter surprise, there is no one who has that history that can be explained by people who know and were once, let's say, descendants of Vachwezi. Those people are there in Isinjo. I've happened to interact with some of those people. So if we come about back to Mbarara specifically, there are some, Lake Mbulu, as a national park. It is not being well marketed. Specifically, some of the unique features in the park. Okay, so there are certain things that are not well marketed, and still it is known and on the map of the 12 national parks in Uganda, but it is not well marketed to the extent that even people in Mbarara do not know that there is that place that has, apart from being called the national park, it has other people it has other features. For example, someone may not know that some of those communities living around the park, okay? Someone may not know that the cattle in the Lake Mbulu, neighboring Lake Mbulu, they freely graze with the wild animals. That is something that we are not selling out, okay? When you reach there and you see the intermixture of zebras and the local longhorn cattle being grazing in the same area, that is something that we should be selling out, and knowing that at the end of the day, from way back when we were still unhabituated, and animals, both wild and domestic, were once living together in harmony. So that area is also still unknown. Apart from the national park, there are a lot of surroundings that we can help promote the park, help us gain from that local tourism.
Okay.
Then the other unknown destinations in Mbarara, of course, we have that monument that overlooks Igongo, the Eclipse Monument. That is also, it has history. Yeah, and basically, to wind up, in Ankole, we have failed to sell out our longhorned cattle. It's supposed to be a very big feature. When someone comes to Uganda, to Ankole, people are seeing how those cows are milked. They are, what goes with the process of making, let's say, ghee, the process of making yogurt.
Yes.
Those are the products that we are unknown and we should profile and sell out.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And speaking of unknown destinations, and the tourism officer in Bushenyi also discovered some unknown sites. He discovered a cave and also a stone whereby it had a footprint. And there is a lot to traverse also there, as we're going to be diving into everything.
How is it called?
The place, I haven't got the clear details, yes, but I'll soon be giving you everything. And as well, there is Katete Beach in Katete, but of course it's not also fully utilized, but also it is an unknown site within Mbarara here. So moving on to the next question, and as young tourism practitioners, what gives you the urge to continue investing in the sector despite the prevailing situation and as well the competitiveness of the sector? This time around, let's begin with the Alpro. Let's make it quick.
Okay. Well, like I told you from the start, if you do not have love and passion for something, trust me, you will not prosper in it. I can tell you, like any other sector or like any other venture, any other business, it comes with challenges.
Yes.
And those challenges are mitigated through your personal commitment. If you're not having passion to do something, definitely will give up. I can tell you, every trip that we've made, so far we've made close to 12 trips to different destinations, but there are no returns. But it does not stop me from venturing out into another trip. You make losses close to 3 million, close to 5 million, but you keep investing because you believe there is a light at the end of the channel.
Yes.
So basically, what has kept me going is passion, and believe that at the end of the day, I will fulfill my calling.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, thank you, my friend Alpro. You have really talked about the passion for something. So in business, what drives the business, first of all, is passion. And the tourism industry is so much to do with love for what you're doing. So once you don't love what you're doing, you have a negative attitude towards it. And that one, when you find you are just chasing profits, not love what you're doing, not the passion, so you can easily get irritated or annoyed with your clients.
Yes.
But what keeps us moving, especially like me at Zoora Uganda Safaris, is that Uganda gives me 100% reasons to keep in the industry. One is basically the location of the country itself and the location of Mbarara in the west. And we are so much blessed to find that, like my company, Zoora Uganda Safaris, and for my friend, and you actually, the Canine Safaris, we are based in Mbarara.
Yes.
So Mbarara works as a gateway for main of tourist attractions from Bwindi, Impenetrable National Park, Mugahinga, to Chisoro, then to Queen Elizabeth, to Mburo National Park, to Nachivare Camp, River Rwizi that is passing through Mbarara. All those kind of reasons to make us keep hopeful. And again, Mbarara is a route, a main route for Rwanda and DR Congo. So you see there is a big potential, not to focus on what is happening right now. What is happening is a problem for everyone, and tourism as a sector is not exceptional.
Yes.
And this one is short-lived. But soon or later, things are going to get normal, and we're going to run our normal businesses. People are going to get back on the road. We are going to travel and see many places. So it's a matter of being patient.
Yes, there is
in the short run.
light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, there is light, as my friend put it. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and we have all reasons to keep in the industry, as any other person anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we are all aware that during these unprecedented times, tourism was among the sectors that were cleared to continue operating, despite the suspension of domestic tourism. There, the domestic population is, I think, part of your market.
Yes.
I may say. So, how are you operating business currently, having to only depend on the international market? And as young tourism practitioners, really, what are you doing currently? Because we know that now the domestic population isn't traveling. Probably some other young tourism practitioners out there that they may be facing some challenges. Probably they have not yet been in position to handle international clients. So I don't know how you guys are really coping up this. So how are you operating business? Yeah, anyone can start up.
To begin with, it is very hard to operate a business in isolation. And tourism itself is a sector that engages everyone. Say, for example, the tourism industry employs 6% of the total population, more than 6% of the total population, and that's a big number. And many facilities, many amenities, most of them are not operating right now, either voluntarily or involuntarily, due to the current condition prevailing due to the coronavirus. And that itself is a limit, even to the foreigners who would wish to come to Uganda to visit. So to say that tourism was cleared to keep operating in the midst of the this COVID-19 and Uganda being in a lockdown was just, to me, to my thinking, was just to give an allowance to those tourists who had already booked to come to Uganda, to ensure they don't lose their money, they continue coming. Some had paid their flight tickets. So those people had to utilize them, at least they come and go back. Then again, to give allowance, because when you wake up one day and you say we have closed, there is this person who has come from USA. According to his schedule, her schedule was supposed to fly back and is still in Uganda. So when you close everything and you all means of transport are closed, meaning this person has no ways to get back. So to me, it was not like tourism is doing business, but was to give an allowances.
Yes.
If someone comes, say for instance, from our main tourists, actually 80% are African tourists. The international tourists, we have 80% are from Africa. Then 20% from abroad. I mean outside Africa, sorry. So when this person comes to Uganda, he's expecting many things. The experience of the local people. Remember, you have found people in a lockdown. This person wants to experience the night life in Imbarara. How do people club? The street vendors in the evening, people eating roasted meat along the way. So meaning this person will not have a touch of this experience. Will have lost out a lot of things. And tourism is not basically going to these two national parks, great national parks we have in Uganda, someone visiting Kidepo, whatnot. They come for even these invisible things that we cannot touch. You get me?
Yeah.
So all those are part of the industry. So it's hard to operate within the pandemic, within the lockdown. So basically, to me, I think it was just to give an allowance for people who were still coming in and and trying out to prepare themselves in that way.
Yes.
Well, one thing I know is that always health is wealth. So at the end of the day, we should appreciate what the health experts tell us, and know that at the end of the day, it is for our own good. So the reasons why government takes some decisions depends on the statistics they have at hand. And for example, I can tell you that most of these tourism destinations are in the rural areas. So COVID-19 being having its mechanisms of spreading, people in the rural areas do not have the same sensitization like people in urban areas. So the interactions with tourists and for example, people want to perform those dances, people want to go and trek the Batwa, for example. So they will have a big challenge experiencing such kind of life, and so the decisions they take are for our own good, and I pray that we get back to normal when vaccination has been done and the spread of COVID-19 is limited.
Okay. Now Uganda till now faces the challenge of the domestic population engaging in the tourism sector. Up to now, the sector is facing a low turn-up of domestic clients. For the country, largely depends on the international market. And wherever the international market is not available, like now as we evidenced the last lockdown we had in 2020, the sector greatly was shattered. And this time around, the sector has shrunk monetary returns of up to 5 billion US dollars, and we expect that we might lose more than that in the next 5 years period, probably more than 5 billion US dollars. So as for you, the young tourism practitioners, how do you plan to address this challenge? How do you plan to engage the domestic clients, or what can you advise them? Because we know for us, we don't usually travel. Main reason is usually because they're expensive. Yes, the tourism sector is a little bit expensive. The trips are, I cannot come out and be like, I want to today go for a trip, yet probably have school fees to pay for my kid, or I have like medical issues, anything like that. So a Ugandan cannot easily spend all that much money on a trip because it's not fundamental, I may say. So how do you plan to address this challenge as well?
I can tell you that these white tourists, people from abroad, they do their business through planning. And these plans should be done, we should borrow from them. Travel is therapy. At the end of the day, you traveling and seeing certain beautiful mother nature, flora and all the wildlife, it is good for our health. So we need to sensitize the communities. We need to sensitize the local people, and the domestic tourism is the way to go for our economy. Because I can tell you, places like Kenya are doing very well in domestic tourism. Actually, there are statistics that state Ugandans specifically contribute a lot to domestic tourism in Kenya.
Yes, in Kenya.
Yes, and recently you can see there was a very big rally session, and we were following it. People on Twitter, people everywhere were having engagements. We've not had that in Uganda. We've not had that in Mbarara. Okay, there are certain things that should be on our calendars, specifically notifying us to plan ahead, because this business or this kind of
just jumping into the thing
it's about
today.
Yeah, it's about planning. So you plan, you detail, have a program, knowing that in 2 months I would love to travel.
Yes,
I should have a family picnic. I should have, so it's all about planning, and it's all about government helping us into sensitization. Because at the end of the day, if government does not come up, the Ministry of Tourism does not come up to bring about certain, for example, have deductions for local tourists entering parks, having deductions on certain, these hotels, having deductions for local tourists, then we shall keep where we are.
Okay. Yes. To me, I think we need just to be patient. Otherwise, Uganda is coping up with the local tourism, especially. In the first case, the money that we use to tour or to visit new places, basically I can say for leisure, because tourism is about leisure. We use what we call the income accrued. Or the disposable income, the money that you have to spend. So since 1987 to 2017, tourism has been growing at a rate of 12.05%. And if this is maintained, you see it is a tremendous increase, which means, according to statistics, Africa in general, the middle income group is increasing per year. When the middle income is increasing, meaning we have more people having disposable income, and that disposable income is there to spend. The issue is how. For us as tour operators, we want, as he said, as he put it, we have to encourage people to spend some on tourism for leisure. Because I may have much disposable income and I buy luxury cars, I buy different items, but not for leisure. So basically, is to encourage people to plan for leisure. And people have to understand, it has been in many people's mindset that those people who tour are the people with a lot of money. But tourism is leisure and it's passion. So people need to have that passion to visit new places, to ensure in their planning, as he said, they leave some disposable income that they can spend on leisure. And how do we do it as tour operators? We have different rates for different people, and this is what the public should come to notice. That tourism is not all about for only the foreigners from abroad, but also the local people have different rates. Say, for example, the Uganda Wildlife Authority has, according to the Uganda Wildlife Tariff, it has a different set of prices, basically for local people. So if you are in East African and you are entering a national park, other people say, for example, $40, non-foreign residents. So they pay $40, but the Ugandan will pay in the Ugandan currency. Like right now, where we have a discount, we pay 10,000 for entry to enter into a national park. And when you reach, the challenge is going about the game drive, where to sleep and what to eat. We have many options for sleeping. We have camping in the national park. Some people don't know you can camp. Say, for example, here at Zoora Uganda Safaris, I have all camping equipments, from tents, mattresses, everything you need, you can need. Even we can give you a provision for cooking your own meals in the national park. We have the gas cylinders. So you can, just with your 10,000, you pay entry, you enter the national park, you have your guide. If you are not confident with the park, you have your guide. And now you are doing all these things at a subsidized rate. So that's one way of empowering the local community and encouraging them to visit, or giving them a capability that they can do it. So it's all about people having passion, and once they approach these two companies, especially like as you've said, the Zoora Uganda Safaris, the Alpro, the Canine Safaris, we have different options. And another thing is to make the local market understand that tour companies do not overcharge. They have a perception that tour companies charge a lot of money, so they find ways of getting along.
And yet it is the other way around.
And yet it's the other way around.
Travel companies have exemptions.
And when people go, people have to understand it's all about the experience. Tourism is experience. I have seen some people have convinced to go to, say, for example, Rekimburo National Park, and someone say, I've ever been there. But this person, when you ask about the experience, he has less to tell. So it's about the experience. If you don't go with an expert and he gives you that experience that you need, if you can ask how many people have ever seen a leopard while in the Rekimburo National Park, Ugandan, they're like the local people, I think the percentage is like 0.00 something.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's the way we can work to ensure the local market also taps into those opportunities, and they are encouraged to tour in one way or the other. Yes.
Okay, so for all those who are still viewing us, thank you for having tuned in to amidst TV, and please stay with us as we are going into a break. And you have heard, for those of you who want to travel out there, traveling is for you guys, Ugandans, and please let's plan our trips after COVID. We traverse within our country. We know what lies beneath our eyes, And you've heard it is really cheap for Ugandans to travel, because you as a Ugandan, you are considered that you are within your country, and the travel with the company, the operator, as it gives you exemptions on some things. And for you guys, there's, like he has said, there's always a mindset that you travel with the company, it's expensive, yet it is the other way around. So let's go in for a break. Thank you for those who are still with us.
All other social gatherings are only allowed with a maximum of 20 people. Online prayers are encouraged.
Amidst TV enables your event to reach more numbers. To have your event live on Facebook, YouTube, Zoom, call us now 0705 909 760 or 0781 557 245. At Amidst TV, we connect audiences for the best of your event.
So a few days ago, you joined the crowds in the market for your fresh fruits. You'd equally brave the risky streets, exposing yourself to the virus.
Cut the hustle. If you're in Barara, all your fresh fruits can now find you on your doorstep. Download Let's Farm Shop app from Play Store to order now.
Red Star Wine, the taste that lasts.
Red Star Wine nekorerwa hano mu Uganda kandi bwa hati okurugaho naho ori nobasa kugigura ori kurabira haduka y'ubwoko bwa internet eri kuguza ebyo byonka ebiri kukorerwa hano mu Uganda ya www.guzaug.com.
Do you have Uganda at heart? How about buying products made in Uganda by Ugandans from a Ugandan online shop anywhere, anytime?
Introducing GuzaUG.com, a one-stop center for Uganda's locally made products. Buy Uganda, build Uganda.
I am Ugandan.
Hello there, I'm Sankara Beruhanga from Empower Youth in Technology. The virus has brought the world to the knees. Hashtag RIP is now trending, and yet treating COVID-19 is much expensive. I thus appeal to you, let's respect SOPs and be keen to ourselves. We will surely celebrate more birthdays, many more years to come.
Other social gatherings are only allowed with a maximum of 20 people. Online prayers are encouraged.
Amidst TV enables your event to reach more numbers. To have your event live on Facebook, YouTube, Zoom, call us now 0705 909 760 or 0781 557 245. At Amidst TV, we connect audiences for the best of your event.
Okay, thank you. We are back, and we have questions that are coming in online. Thank you for your participation out there. And Nalazela Agatha has a question that I have. How has the tour operators tried to improve on the domestic tourism in order to make people aware and get willing to travel across the country? Thanks. And this question is coming in from Kenyan Safaris Limited as well on our media page. So how?
As the tour operators, we have made sure that we try to advertise because most of our domestic tourists we have got, for example, they have seen the good pictures, the good shots, because we are living in the world of social media. People need to exploit social media in a sense that when they see, instead of posting certain things that are not good for our eyes or our children, you rather post a picture of you in Lake Bull, rather post a picture of you in Lake Mnyonyi doing a certain activity. Okay, we have tried to provide itineraries that are specific, whereby as a family you can sit and have a family package and know that if I went, instead of going for a picnic and buy food and buy alcohol at home, I rather go and spend this money in a preferred tourist destination. So as tour operators, we have made sure that we market the product. We have come a long way, whereby, like he said, instead of sleeping in a hotel room of $100, you have a camping tent where you just pay for camping space of 10,000 and you sleep on your meal. Some of us are good chefs in our homes. So if I went with my matoke, I have my meat, I have my spices, I can prepare a good meal for my hubby. I can prepare a good meal for my friends.
Yes.
And we catch lunch in the world. So we made sure that some of these things are done in a more of a subsidized place. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, in a way to promote local tourism, like I earlier said, people need to understand that it's cheap. So we need to make them understand that touring is cheap. It's not so expensive. And people also have to understand that even these whites, the Muzungu we see coming to Uganda, we have whom we call luxurious tourists. Then we have the what we call the budget tourists. Those who come on a budget tour. So a budget tour means you are cutting costs. So if someone wants a luxurious tour or a person wants to stay in a 5-star hotel, so this one will stay, say for example, in a 2-star hotel. So people also need to understand there are different options for them, irrespective of how much they have. The big thing is to find a best tour company for you, and then you work out that budget that the best suits your interests.
Okay. So do you believe that technology is also at the forefront of all the efforts towards the advancement of the sector, and how have you utilized this as being an advantage?
So technology has really, actually, as you can see from 1897, 2000, as the way how the graph is increasing is directly proportional to the way how people are coping up with technology. So this technology has really done a big deal, because people are now adapting the issue of posting using their smartphones. They take pictures and write stories. I have to say this, that Africa, we have given whites a chance to write our own narrative. And once you give someone a choice or a chance to write your own narrative, he will write it in the way that he wants. So these people have branded Africa and Uganda in particular in different way. So it is us, the tour operators, and the general population to write Uganda and tell our own story. So what are the stories? What are the stories that people tell? Communicate to the outside world what is here. So people need to post when they go to Lake Bunyonyi, they post good things they have seen. Once they go to Lake Mburo, they post the emperors, they post the leopards, and once they come to town, they write about these good cars that we have, because people don't think even coming to Uganda can get means to get along. So, but once people get to know that those things really exist, that we have even 4-star hotels, we have the Sheratons, we have the Serenas, where people can come and sleep on a luxurious budget. So they would be, amazed to come, and that's one way of embracing the technology that we have and putting it in a better use. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, specifically, as Alpro tours, we've made sure that we utilize technology as a whole. I always make sure whenever we go for these tours, go with good gadgets, for which, in case you spot a lion in the 800 meters, you are able to view it. We have drones. These things never used to we didn't have them in the last 10 years or the century, but they're helping us improve the sector. Then we have a website, www.alprotoursandtravel.com, for which you can book an online safari. You can book, and I can get your details and prepare accordingly. It has specific questions where the kind of package, what is your interest, what is your budget. So we have made sure that we utilize the technology to that extent. We have the handles at alprotours.com, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, where you can share with us where we would love to travel.
Okay, thank you so much. And we'll get into the last question. You two, Young Uganda Tour Operators, seeks to unite all the budding companies in the tourism sector and to support them through their challenges. The association provides mentorship, seeks partnerships, and lobbies for the young practitioners so as to help them reduce their operational costs. So, have you or are you a beneficiary of the association?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank the leadership of UTO for coming up with such a wonderful venture, because like the saying goes, united we stand. So definitely, when you have a collective voice, we can move forward, and each of us, different tour companies, can fulfill their dreams. So I'm a beneficiary indirectly, because I've got to know you guys. I'm here because of them being in their group, and having to recognize my kind of craft and my kind of work and the effort that we are putting in as a team. So definitely, I look at the future being so bright with you two.
Okay, thank you so much.
Maybe briefly, let's talk about UTO, stands for Young Uganda Tour Operators Association, and basically it was started with the motive of uplifting the upcoming tour companies, and we have the organizational offices in Kampala, and then we have also the branch, Young Uganda Tour Operators in Imbarara. So if anyone there is having a tourism business, can just join us, and we move as a team, and we market tourism as a team. And basically that one also, the main agenda of UTO was to develop the local tourism indeed by connecting these Uganda tour operators, young Uganda tour operators, to ensure if Alpro has got 2 clients are going to Jinja, then Elliot of Rambura Safaris is in Kampala, also have got 2 clients. Then Zoora has also got 4 clients. They can come together and make a trip, hence uplifting the local tourism and giving people the means to easily afford those tour packages. And yeah, that's all about. And Zoora Uganda Safaris is a beneficiary and a member of UTO Uganda.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, there's another question that is coming in online. Yes, and it is still from Nalezela Agaba. And Agaba, thank you so much for being with us. The question says, many tour operators have focused themselves on promoting only safaris like wildlife, hence neglecting culture, yet it is one of the best activities that would capture the attention of travelers. So what should be done to promote cultural tourism in Uganda?
Well, like I earlier mentioned, I told you about Tolo having the palace, having the traditional dances. I told you about Ankole, having these Bachwezi, having our burial grounds in Kokonjelo. So definitely we are not doing well in promotion of culture, and it is one source of tourism. So apparently we are coming out as Alpro Tours a detail of different cultures and their heritage in Ankole. Because in Ankole definitely we have very many tribes and they have specific culture heritages. So we are profiling all the cultures, and in the coming months we shall have a package for culture heritage.
Yes, I thank that person who asked the question. Sorry, I forgot the name. But to begin with, Uganda is very rich in culture and heritage, with over 56 tribes speaking over 56 languages, all details of a rich culture, going to Batoro, to the Sebei, to the Karamajong, to the Bajisu, to the Wanyankore. So that mixture, that kind of diversity is a big attraction to the tourists. And me myself, I have a package that focuses on the culture and heritage. When I get clients, I take them deep in the villages. People see how people live their life, how people prepare banana, how people prepare coffee, how people prepare local meals, and how people dance traditionally, and how all those things are rich kind of heritage that we applaud and have to lift greatly. Thank you.
Okay. So we have finalized, and thank you so much for those who are viewing us, and please let's keep the conversation flowing online, and thank you for all your comments and your questions out there. We're going to be conversing online as the show is coming to an end, and once again, tourism is for you guys, the domestic population. Let's please try to engage ourselves within the sector. Let us not look at it as only for the whites. Let's look at it as we ourselves, how can we benefit from the sector? What can we set up within the sector? Because I hear that Kenya itself, the beds that it has in one park, speaking of beds, I mean accommodation facilities, they actually, like, there are many compared to the entire beds that are within the entire sector of Uganda. So let's try to utilize all our resources within the country, and let's as well engage in the travel, and we continue traveling. Yeah, thank you so much for our viewers of 8 TV. Please continue following, like, and comment as well, and share to your friends. And I was with the Zoora,
Yes, thanks.
Safaris Uganda, and the Alpro Tours and Travel, and the Kenya Safaris Limited. Thank you so much for those who have viewed us. So we are finalized.